I want to start off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakadash. I am the brother Napak from Great Millstone, Tampa. And I want to give double honor to elders and apostles of Great Millstone who teach you well, peace and blessings to the hopeful elect and the ones listening in. And I want to get into a quick lesson. I'm going to title this lesson, Learn to Love Discipline. Learn to love discipline, okay? Because with discipline, that's the only way you are able to learn. All right. So this is, just to get straight to it, this is Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 1. Whosoever loveth instruction, loveth knowledge, but he that hateth reproof is brutish. It says in the NLT, to learn, you must love discipline. It is stupid to hate correction. So in order to learn and to grow, you must love discipline, okay? Because the Lord is going to put you through series of seasons of discipline, putting you through it, all right? Because that's the only way you're able to learn, You can't learn when you're comfortable, So the Lord makes us uncomfortable in order for us to learn, to grow, to become better, all right? Because when you're into prosperity, you will love to stay in prosperity. So you continue to be the same way, doing the same things, having the same acts and actions as you are, while you're in prosperity. But when you're going through affliction, that affliction, it causes you to change up. It causes you to do things different. It causes you to become better, all right? So you can produce, a season of prosperity again. It's just something that, brothers go through. When you catch in hell, you want to see the end of this hell. You want to become better. You want to go back into prosperity, all right? So in order to do that, you would continue to change your ways in a way where you're continuously bettering yourself spiritually and mentally, all right? Having that mental fortitude, strengthening your mind so the things that hurted you before could no longer hurt you now. So you can grow through it and it no longer feels pain. You no longer feel pain from what you're catching, the hell you're catching now, all right? And but eventually you'll get to a point where you love the discipline, all right? That it becomes something you're accustomed to. You're content within the discipline in the times of affliction and hell. You become comfortable with it, all right? And that's why the Lord always brings the fire up each time, every time, because you continue to master and conquer that trial. Every time, the Lord has to bring a stronger trial in order to build you, all right? So that's why you have it, where we love that discipline. The flesh hates it, but, through the spirit, you can't deny it. It's something that's great. And you realize that once you get over the discipline, because you start to look back at it, and you're like, man, those were the times that I changed the most. Those were the times that I became better. Those were the times that, though I didn't notice it while I was in it, because I was so focused on the hell, that I was more focused, all right, on the Lord to get me out of that hell, because that's what it do is it narrows your focus, all right, on the Lord, all right, because that's the only thing, that's the only way, out of it is by focusing on the Lord, okay? So the two things you mainly focus on is the hell you're going through and how to get out of it. And we being in the spirit and having this truth, we know our only way out of it is through the Lord. So that puts your focus on the Lord. It brings you closer spiritually and mentally, all right? To where you seek the Lord more than you have ever before. So this is why you must love that discipline, man. You must love that suffering. Love the affliction, because it's reproof. It's reproving your ways and your actions and changing you into a better man. All right. And that's when you become glorified. All right. And when you get into that word, that's a beautiful word, but always get this out is when you get into this word glorified, it says invested with glory. And it says transformed. It says in the weaker sense of transformed into something better. All right. So the Lord is glorifying us. All right. So we can be glorified just as Yahweh Shai was, to be transformed into something better than we are now. Okay. And you can't be transformed if you stay doing the same things that you were doing before in the past. All right. Making the same mistakes, making the same, errors as before. So you have to be transformed. You have to be changed. You have to be, glorified. And in order to become glorified, you must go through these trials and series of discipline. Okay? You must go through these things in order for that to happen, in order for you to become better. All right? So you got to love this discipline, man. You got to love the correction. You got to love it, especially from the Lord, because though, you have brothers that correct you and they give you, that harsh correction, and, they get on your ass, but it's saving you from a lot, all right? Saving you from a lot, and it's basically a warning from the Lord. That's how you always got to look at it. This is the warning from the Lord before things get bad. So brothers will come and they give you that warning because what? We're prophets. So we ain't just warning the people, we warning each other. So when brother come and correct you, he give me a warning like, hey, bro, you got to get on this, got to get on your shit before, the Lord knock you down, bro. But you don't listen, that's when the Lord correction comes in. All right. And then you truly get that understanding on why the brothers were telling you this. What was, the main point of it, the lesson. You gain that spiritual lesson. All right. Now, some brothers may get it from the brother telling them, and then, they are able to miss out. Not really miss out, but they're able, to not go through that time of the Lord chastening them. All right. Because they already got it. But those who don't get it the first time, the Lord will make sure you get it the second or the third or whenever the time the Lord has to give it to you. Okay? So this is why you must love that discipline, because it's bringing us into true man, the Lord. So it says, the Lord approves of those who are good, but he condemns those who plan wickedness. All right? Wickedness never brings stability, but godly have deep roots. All right? So that wickedness never brings stability. All right? And the Lord is, approving those who are good. All right? And in order for him to approve you, you got to see that you're ready to go through it. You love the discipline. You love catching the hell, bro. You ready for the next trial. You ready for the next, stage. All right? With the three holy children. They stepped into the fire. They didn't crush in it. They went into there ready. Ready to be go in that fire, bro. And that's how we are spiritually. That's how you must be. You got to be ready to step in that fire. All right? You got to be ready to step in that fire, man. To go through it. Not shy away from it or run away. Because you know that the Lord's going to be with you. And what? The Lord was with the three holy children. Okay? So, it says, let me get this real quick as well. Job 5, verse 17. It says, behold, happy is the man whom Yahweh correcteth. Therefore despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. All right, so happy is a man who the Lord correcteth. All right, they're happy. They're happy because they went through that correction season, and it brought them great reward. It brought them great success within the spirit. All right, to make them better. And now the reward isn't always something physical. Okay, but the Lord could reward you with physical things. The Lord could reward you with, the things of this world, certain things of this world, if he knows you're ready for it. But the true reward is the spirit being rewarded, the spirit being grown, all right? The wisdom that you receive, the knowledge, the understanding, the faith booster that you receive. All right, these are the true rewards, and that's what the Lord is doing every time you get through your first trial, your second trial, your third trial, or all your trials. The Lord is putting you through those tests. All right, and at the end of those tests, when you passed, you always have the reward. All right, to be able to go to the next grade. You passed the test, so now you can go to the next grade, and that's how it is with the Lord. You passed the test, now you're ready to go to the next one, the next grade. All right, the promotion through the Spirit. That's what the Lord is doing, is promoting you through the Spirit by correction. All right, by reproof. So you got to love it. All right. And the NLT says, but consider the joy of those corrected by Yahweh. Do not despise the discipline of the Almighty when you sin. For though he wounds, he also bandages. He strikes, but his hands also heal. So we ain't just, do not despise that discipline. Don't hate the discipline that the Lord is giving you, because the Lord is dealing with you. That's how the Lord deals with his man. It's through disciplining them. All right. So we got to go through that discipline. You got to go through that fire. All right. So ultimately, you can come out, better, to correct your past sins or your past going off. All right. It says, for though he wounds, he also bandages. So though the Lord wounds, he already has the bandage kit, the med kit, sitting there ready to heal you, to bandage you. All right. But you got to go through that wound first. You got to, suffer through the wound. All right. So the Lord can heal you. Learn through it. Accept it. Become one with it. Become one with the discipline. To where it's not like an unusual thing for you, but it's there. It's a part of life, and this is something that you accepted when you came into this truth. Okay? It says he strikes, but his hands also heal. All right? So the Lord strikes, but, his hands also heal. Okay? The Lord can heal you as faster than he had wounded you. Okay? So this is the point. You got to love that discipline. You got to love, that suffering, because with that is the only way you're able to learn, all right, or grow. Okay? So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. With that, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the Lord Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakadash. Once again, double honor to elders and apostles, the great millstone, teaching well, peace and blessings to for elect. Shalom, Akim.